do this the opposite way.
High fly ball, deep left field. Oh, 27 does it again.
Gone. Fernando Tatis Jr. with a 2-run shot has the Padres on the board. Ball and 2 strikes to Shohei here. Oh,
Got it, got it, got it! 33!
Oh, wow. Where did that one go? That's his 11th home run.
Driven out to deep center field. Going back, Springer, turning, looking, see ya! Oh, what a shot by Judge! The Yankees lead 1-0.
Hey everybody, and welcome to Free Baseball number 42. 42, the Jackie Robinson number retired. We should have skipped 42 and gone straight to 43, Jake.
True.
But welcome to episode number 42 of the Free Baseball podcast presented by the Athlete Sub. My name, as always, is Davis Bird. It's been the same name since I was born. Imagine that. Same as Jake Crumpler, I guess. I don't know. You might have changed your name.
No.
No, same name. Same name for everybody. But I'm joined, as always, by my wonderful co-host, Jake Crumpler, Mr. Baseball from the Bay Area. Got some stuff to talk about, a couple little fun game we might play at the end. Just more of a chill podcast, not a potentially almost 2.5, 3 hour long, like every transaction super rundown like we've been doing.
Yeah.
So how was your Christmas, Jake? Tell everybody that's watching.
Bro, I'm Jewish. Stop with the Christianity.
How was your Hanukkah?
My Hanukkah lasted 8 days and nights. It was wonderful. Yeah, Christmas was pretty cool. Got this Shohei Ohtani jersey, which I'm super pumped about. Got this watch too, so just blinged out now. Yeah, it was pretty solid. How about yourself?
Man. Pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good. It was a pretty good time. Very
Nice.
happy. But world keeps turning. Just like baseball. Some weird baseball news going on, but let's run down some more of it. One of the transactions literally happened last time right after we got off the pod. They need to stop doing this. It's really annoying. But the Orioles actually have traded with the New York Mets for noted bad catcher James McCann. The Orioles receive a player to be named later in cash considerations. And I believe this is meant to be that are the Orioles going to eat $19 million of the $24 million or what?
No, the Mets are taking $19 million of that's the cash considerations. So They get $19 million, and they only have to. So the Orioles only have to pay $5 million of the contract. It's like clearly a salary dump, which I don't know how they are getting away with this, but it seems like Steve Cohen's got dirt on every single GM in baseball because he just does whatever he wants. So yeah, I don't know who let this one happen, but yeah, it frees up a lot more money. Like they really needed it or something. But yeah, I don't know. He'll be a solid backup to Adley Rutschman.
Yeah, nothing else to say. McCann completely disappointed, or so far, I guess, was complete disappointment. God, complete disappointment in New York. It's never really good, and it was kind of like everyone saw it at first too. It's like, wow, this was a stupid signing. But now they got rid of him. He's the Orioles' problem now, but he's not really costing them much, so it's not a big deal. On to the next. The Cincinnati Reds have signed Will Myers. It was one of what felt like one of the last like pretty decent resurgence bats, I guess you could try to bank on, like a reclamation project, and the Reds are going to get him, and they've been really good, especially getting guys like that and then being able to flip them at the deadline. You saw it last year with Drury. Maybe they can work something out with Will Myers, but contract obviously is loaded towards that as well. It's a 1-year, $6 million deal. He can earn $1.5 million of incentives, and he'll also receive a bonus of $500,000 if he gets traded. There's an option in 2024 for $12 million. And that is a $1.5 million buyout. The Reds cheap. They're very clearly not trying to win, but they're trying to get Will Myers, who, hey man, be good, and we'll get ready at the deadline for something good.
I just broke my earphones.
Jake, What'd you do that for?
I think it's fixed now. That was goofy. Yeah, I think it's a no. I just can't hear anything. Great.
Flash the technical difficulties sign up on the screen.
All right, there. Yeah. All right, I figured it out. There we go. Yeah, it's like you said. I think you broke it down pretty well. It's like a low risk, high reward play for the Reds, looking for a guy that they can possibly trade at the deadline, like you said, like they did with Drury before. I don't think Will Myers is that great. He's had a couple outlier seasons, but it's all sort of culminated in that 110 career WRC plus. And I think that's like just about what he is as a player. He really doesn't bring much to the table defensively either, but I think he can be pretty solid at the plate. And as long as teams aren't fooled by, his splits at home, then, they won't be paying too much if they do end up trading for him. I'm trying to see if he's more of a lefty masher. It looks like last year he played most of his games against lefties and he was much better. So definitely could be a platoon guy for a contender down the stretch, but also just, playing in Great American Small Park, he could definitely boost his numbers pretty well. I don't see him hitting more than like, I don't know, 15 homers in the first half or whatever. I could see him going off, honestly, and then getting traded and slowing down a lot because that ballpark just boosts offense like crazy. I think it's super underrated how good it is for hitters. It's like right behind Coors Field for the best offensive boosting ballpark. So this is definitely the place you want to go if you're hoping to sort of revive your career.
Right. Last year, I mean, he didn't play all that much, mostly just kind of platooned against lefties. You talk about Great American Small Park, which is hilarious because he only hit like 9 home runs and he would have hit like 15, 16 last year in Great American. So that's pretty big boon to his value. If he gets to play pretty much every day, he'll probably be close to hitting like 20 something home runs. And then they'll just move him, which, yeah, the Reds are very clearly not trying to win. So this fits their needs. Get a guy on a rental, hope he pops off, and then get him out the door for something else. Got a Giants trade. Jay can talk about the Giants. They've traded Gregory Santos to the Chicago White Sox in exchange for Cade McClure. Run down this trade because I'm not really familiar with either of these guys.
I'm not super familiar with either of them. Santos got DFA'd. He was part of the forget which trade it was. I think it was like Eduardo Nunez trade. I don't know. One of the trades they made in the last few years. He was one of the guys that came over, and he throws really hard. He's like going to be 23 years old next year. He throws really hard, but he just walks everybody. Like his favorite thing to do is walk people. Throughout his minor league career, I think he has does not let you combine. It looks like his minor league career walk rate is like over 10%, which is awful. And then last year in his 5.2 inning career in the major leagues, he has a 16% walk rate. So yeah, he just doesn't throw strikes. He throws really hard. So there is potential there for him to be really good. I mean, if you look at all of the best relievers, they all throw really hard, and that's what Santos can do. He averages like 99 miles per hour with his fastball. So the Giants had a roster crunch. They let him go, and they got somebody in the return. It's Cade McClure, who I don't know why they chose this guy. He's about to be 27 next year. He is a starting pitcher, a reliever. He's been turned to a reliever last year. He threw 87 innings with a 4.97 ERA after posting a 6.81 ERA the year before. So I'm not quite sure what they see in him. He's 6'7", so maybe it's something like a physical projection thing, but I don't know what they see there. He doesn't strike out a lot of guys either. So Giants must know something we don't, but this seems like a pretty, I don't know, upside trade for the White Sox and, sort of a roster crunch thing for the Giants.
Right. All I could really find about Santos that was even remotely interesting was that in the minors, he's played for teams like the Winston-Salem Dash and the Keene Swamp Bats. So former Keene Swamp Bat, Gregory Santos now gets to go play for the Swamp Sox in Chicago. Yeah, Yeah, I mean, he seemed to throw hard and he throws a slider, but he walks everybody, like you said. So I don't know. This was a move. This was a baseball transaction. We put it on the list. This next one has a little bit different ramifications. This is the Nationals claiming Jeter Downs. Jeter Downs, obviously one of the big centerpieces in the Mookie Betts trade when he was sent to Los Angeles in exchange for all those guys that do in fact play baseball. And Alex Verdugo. So Jeter Downs never really put it together. He honestly kind of struggled to the top levels of the minors too. And now it looks like he's going to get a chance in Washington, where they don't have any intentions on being good either. And maybe they can give him a chance to big leagues and try to figure something out because he was miserable last year in his 14 games. Would you care to know what his WRC plus in his 14-game cup of coffee was, Jake?
Let's hear it.
I want you to take a guess because I think you'll be surprised.
I just looked at it.
It's 8, which is pretty good. If you don't know, 100 is league. It's 100 is league average. If you don't know,
he struck out 51% of the time across 41 plate appearances.
God,
that's
man.
Crazy.
That is not good. He was supposed to be like. What's crazy is he was supposed to be a shortstop, and then it's just like, okay, well, this guy can't play short. So they tried to move him to second, and he's not good defensively at second either. And then he went from being like the lower level, like of like the minor strikeout guy, like where he was striking out, 20% or less, and it's just like ballooned insanely high. I don't know who messed his swing up or if he did or what happened, but
it was
the guy
Chaim.
strikes out.
It was Chaim personally.
Yeah.
Chaim went down there and was
Look,
just like,
man.
"Hey, bro, look, you're gonna make us look good, all right? You're the next Mookie Betts." And he was just like, "Holy moly, I don't know if I can live up to that."
You are Mookie number 2, and if you don't live up to it, I am personally going to cause physical harm to you.
Yes.
And he's just folding under the pressure. But now he gets to go be part of a excellent baseball team in Washington.
Yeah, definitely the worst team in baseball. But I don't know. I feel like it's weird for them to like get an infielder right now because that seems to be where they're most loaded. They've got like Jeimer Candelario at third, Luis Garcia at second, CJ Abrams at short. So there's not really room for him in the infield. And then in the outfield is where all their bad players are. So I don't know. Maybe they turn him into an outfield. Maybe they do turn him into the next Mookie Betts. But I think expectations are very low across the league for Jeter Downs. This is his 4th organization. We'll see how it goes. But I mean, right now, this is probably the only team that would be giving him an opportunity right now. Best of luck to him, honestly.
Yeah, hopefully he can figure it out. But it's abundantly obvious now that the Red Sox completely botched that Mookie Betts trade. The only like real player it seems like they're getting out of it is Alex Verdugo, and Alex Verdugo is not close to the player Mookie Betts is. So, yeah, just rough all around for Mr. Bloom and his Boston Red Sox, who now probably are going to have to trade Devers. That's going to be fun. They're going to burn Fenway down. That's not going to be great, man.
Yeah, it's a historical landmark, guys. Do not burn it down.
Well, just maybe make a fire outside of it. Don't burn it down.
Yeah.
Do something else. Another Reds move, though. This was pretty fun. Former excellent San Francisco Giant Kirk Casale is now going to be a Cincinnati Red. A 1-year, $2.5 million deal. Same thing with the Will Myers deal. He's going to receive $250K if he gets traded. He does have an option for 2024. It's worth $4 million, and it has a $750,000 buyout. One of the bigger things for this one of the bigger things for this move was that the Reds ended up DFAing Mike Moustakas as part of this, which honestly felt kind of big. I mean, he's struggled to stay healthy the last few years, but I mean, he's going to be another upside guy that people are going to be swinging for now in free agency, I'd have to think.
Yeah, pretty crazy that Moustakas got traded. I think that's the biggest thing to come out of this. I don't think there's much to say about Kirk Casale. I think he's pretty underrated as a catcher. I think last pod I was talking about how he had a really good record as a starting catcher. I feel like that's not really talked about at all, but I feel like, catchers are sort of similar to like quarterbacks on football teams where they really have a lot of say in like what happens, how successful a team could be. And he showed that he was, a winning catcher. That probably has to do with game calling and clutch hitting and that kind of stuff. He's not an awful hitter, just slightly below league average. And I think he's a pretty good game caller and that kind of stuff, but he's not going to be bringing the Reds to the playoffs or anything, but he'll definitely help out there behind Tyler Stevenson as a backup. But yeah, seeing Moustakas leave is pretty crazy, especially because he had a 4-year, $64 million deal, and this was going to be the final year of it. And he has not played more than 80 games in any of the 3 years of the first 3 years of the deal. And that first year in 2020, he had a 105 WRC plus. In both the last 2 years, he was under 80. So it just really awful production, awful staying on the field. This is a guy that, you could DH and he could just hit his way to a team. And he's been playing second base too. So I think he had lots of avenues for success, and he had just hit 35 home runs in 2019 before coming over. So definitely unfortunate. I really like Moustakas. So I'm not sure if he's still on waivers right now, if teams can still pick him up, but it would be pretty crazy if nobody picks him up and he just becomes a free agent or gets sent to AAA or something. That would be crazy. But yeah, I mean, the fact that the Reds are so bad and they don't even have room to give Moustakas a chance, I think is sort of telling about where his career is at right now. But I mean, he's still pretty young. He's going to be 34 next year. I think he's still got some life left in his bat. He just needs the right opportunity. So we'll see what happens there.
Right. I mean, I think this happened on the 22nd. I don't know how long they end up staying on waivers, but nobody's made a move for him now. It does feel like he is going to hit free agency, and I still feel like he's going to be a team that he's going to be on probably the Dodgers. The Dodgers will get 20 home runs out of him.
That's what I always think. That's what I always think.
It's really annoying. Either that, my first thought was okay, I think the Pirates will get him. He's hit in that division before, but the bats in free agency now are getting very slim pickings. So I mean, eventually people are going to be picking up players like Mike Moustakas. He's really struggled to be healthy, and he's just struggled when he has played because he just hasn't played that much. But yeah, I mean, I like Moustakas too. I was going to say imagine being the Royals now and seeing okay, since they didn't extend Moustakas, he's been miserable. Hosmer's been miserable. Maybe you look smart, but then it's okay, well, the Royals are still absolute garbage too. So tough to say. Yeah, different move. Bunch of Giants moves and former Giants are getting moved around as well. This time the Giants get their big bat. Got one. Finally, they got one. Michael Conforto has signed a 2-year, $36 million deal. It does have an opt-out after this season. Honestly, good on his agent. I think he's a Boras guy for getting him a second year because he just didn't play baseball last year, and he's honestly been kind of an overrated player. But yeah, I mean, Conforto is now with the Giants. They get somebody to potentially be their first 30 home run hitter since Barry Bonds.
That would be cool, except he's only hit 30 home runs. And can you guess which year it was?
What was it? The Juice Ball year?
Yes, it was 2019. He had 33 home runs, and his career high prior to that was 28. So I don't see that happening. I think when you said he was overrated, I think that was hitting it right on the nail. I think he's a very solid hitter, and that's about all he brings to the table. And right now, we don't even know if that's still there because the last time we saw him play was 2021, and he posted a 106 WRC plus, batting .230 with 14 home runs, which not impressive at all. Yeah. And now he's coming off a shoulder surgery that knocked out a whole year. So not only has he missed a whole year of baseball, not playing in live games, but he also is coming off a what could be a career altering injury. I don't know how he got 2 years, but good on him, and why the Giants had to give him an opt out. They should have the upper hand right here. So pretty crazy, but yeah, I think he's a guy with limited defensive value, about a 115 WRC plus guy, even though his career is 124. I think he's got a couple outlier years like 2017 and 2019 that sort of bring up the value on that. So I think he's going to be a pretty good bat, and definitely helps out this lineup that needed some upgrades, especially after all the guys they missed out on. But as of now, this is going to be one of the biggest signings of their offseason alongside Mitch Haniger and the next guy we'll talk about. But I wouldn't say I'm super excited about this, but I'm sure once he starts hitting dingers out into the bay, I'm going to be a big fan of his.
Yeah. See, This was one that I was wanting for the Cubs to get, but I mean, he makes sense-ish for the Giants just because their lineup was also really bad, and they lost a couple guys, and they still might re-sign a few. I know, like one of the ones I honestly expected them to still retain was Brandon Belt. I know he wasn't nearly as good as he was in 2021 or in 2022 as he was in 2021, but like there's still guys out there for the Giants to go and get. But this honestly for me felt like okay, they didn't get a bunch of the guys they wanted and they needed to get a bat and they just kind of overpaid for Conforto, which is something you're very unfortunately going to have to do if you're a GM now. The precedent's kind of been set by several of these teams outlaying these massive contracts for players, but and Conforto, he's good, but he's not great. And he might really not even be good anymore. So we don't know. He is projected for a 115 WRC plus, but he's still only projected to hit like 17 home runs and have less than 2 WAR. And I don't really think you're going to be wanting to spend. I think the average is he's making $36 million on his 2-year deal. So that's what, $18 million a year. So $18 million a year for 17 dingers. Probably not.
I mean, he's at risk of being platoon too. For his career, he's batted 227 versus lefties.
Yeah, that's true. Well, the Giants got the cheating lab, and they can put him in that. So maybe he'll be. How did Jock do against lefties last year? Because Jock was very. He
didn't play against lefties.
Oh yeah, he'll get platoon.
That's what the Giants do. That's part of the cheating lab is platooning everybody.
So you're paying $18 million for a guy that's going to play half the time. That's something. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of this move, but the Giants it felt like they needed to do something. Next move, a lot cooler. The Giants signed Taylor Rogers, brother of their other excellent bullpen arm, Tyler Rogers, the guy that does the funny Marge Simpson meme wind-up. But yeah, this is really cool. They signed him to a 3-year, $33 million deal. They DFA'd Tommy LaStella to kind of make space for him on the 40-man. But now they have the Rogers brothers in the same bullpen.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I think that's the coolest part about the signing, like outside of baseball, just like having twins on the same team and doing the same job on that team is pretty awesome. I think that's about it on that standpoint. From a baseball standpoint, there is some concern about Rogers after he got traded. He was really not too great with the Brewers. I don't know if you remember him starting off the season super hot. He was like leading baseball in saves for the first couple months. He looked like the best reliever in baseball, and then everything came crashing down over the final 4 months. So that's a bit of a concern. It ended up with him posting a career worst 4.76 ERA last year. But if you look at his underlying metrics, his xFIP of 3.26 is right in line with the rest of his career. So I don't have too much concern about that. I do have a concern though, that if they're paying him $11 million, is he going to be the closer, or are they just paying $11 million for like a really good setup man? Because Rogers has filled all types of roles in his career. He was actually really only a full-time closer in 2019 prior to last year. And they still have Camilo Doval out there. And I really don't want them to bury him behind Rogers, because I think Doval is like clearly the closer of the future, one of the hardest throwers in baseball. And I think he's got a really bright future. And I don't want them to, slow down his ascension into the top tier of relievers by putting Rogers ahead of him. And then if they do end up splitting opportunities, I don't know. I think that's more concerning from like a fantasy baseball perspective if you're trying to draft either of those guys. But right now it's like, we're paying $11 million for a setup man, or a guy that's going to keep our closer of the future from, reaching his fullest potential. We'll see with that. I think it's a good signing overall. They're sort of a team that puts together random dudes in the bullpen and figures it out from there, sort of Rays style. So it's nice to have a guy you can count on and not just be like, oh, Scott Alexander, who the heck is that? Oh, he's going to be our main lefty. Well, now he's our second lefty. So that's nice. But yeah, it's a pretty interesting deal. And then I'd like to hear what you have to say, and then I'll talk about Tommy LaStella.
So it's really interesting. Honestly, it's just cool because of the twin aspect. But Taylor Rogers, like you said, I mean, his underlying metrics were a lot better than what he was last year, and is more so along the line of his career. He did lose more than a mile an hour on a sinker, which is a little concerning. But I'm never really too pressed about like Giants getting pitchers. They typically get the most out of them. They're just a good organization. They get the most out of pitchers. They'll figure something out with him. I do agree with you on the Camilo Doval thing. I mean, he's very clearly in line to be the closer of the future. Important to note, the Giants really like backloading all their deals. So he's actually going to be making $9 million this year, and then he'll make $12 million the next two. So he'll be on like $12 million 2 years after this, which still isn't as bad. $9 million this year, you can stomach a lot easier. They still need to get bats. Like their bullpen and their rotation is fine, but their lineup concerns me a little bit just with the Giants. I did see someone make the jersey swap meme, and I really like that. And it's like first look of at Taylor Rogers in a jersey, and it's just a picture of Tyler Rogers.
That's funny.
Yeah, I like that. So yeah, I mean, Tommy La Stella didn't work out, but I'd love to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, definitely disappointing. I was actually really excited when they signed him in the first place because he had been sort of ascending in baseball. I mean, 2019, now that I look at it, 2019 was very clearly an outlier. He hit for 16 home runs that year, and that was just 2 years before he signed with the Giants. So I think there was still a lot of that, but this was one of the guys in baseball that never struck out, and he walked a lot. I loved his plate discipline, and it sort of wasn't there when he was with the Giants. He's also dealt with injuries the entirety of his tenure there, and just has never been an above average hitter, which is really disappointing. I thought it was a really underrated signing that he would really, be really good for $6 million a year, but that 3-year, $18 million contract doesn't look too great now. And now he's probably going to end up with the Rays or something cool like that. I don't know. It's definitely disappointing. I think that's the operative word here. And I just wish it had gone better. I was sort of excited about it. And then he's sort of just turned into a bench role player type guy, which is not what you want to be paying $6 million for. So sad to see him go. Wish it had gone better, but I think it was sort of a confluence of events where just like everything came together and made him look like a really he looked like a good free agent that year prior to 2021, and it was all just a lie.
Yeah, I was a big Tommy La Stella fan. Obviously, he spent several years with the Cubs, and he won a World Series with the Cubs, which is very cool. So I always like Tommy La Stella for that. But like La Stella always seemed like a weird player to me because he's like he never struck out. He had good plate discipline, walked a little bit, but he never really had a position he played. Like he's not a good fielder, so like you can't really put him as like a utility role because he's just kind of like a shitty fielder. Like he doesn't really hit for much power except for in 2019, which everyone knows was the juice ball year. But yeah, I mean, it just never worked for Tommy La Stella. Hopefully he'll come back and go somewhere like the Rays or like somewhere good and end up finding a little niche role again. He is a bench player. But it just sucks because I really like Tommy La Stella. On to a big trade, huge trade. Actually, this one kind of came out of the blue. I was really kind of thrown off by this one. For me, it didn't make a whole lot of sense for like really the team that traded the guy. But Diamondbacks traded Dalton Varsho to the Toronto Blue Jays in exchange for Toronto's number one prospect, which was Gabriel Moreno, who's a catcher, and for Lourdes Gurriel Jr. Gabriel Moreno was the number 7 prospect in Major League Baseball, according to MLB Pipeline, prior to like really graduating past that status in September. So he was like highly touted as like catcher of the future for Toronto, and now he's gone. So yeah, but they obviously aren't too upset about it. Dalton Varsho is very, very promising young player, super good, super utility guy, insanely fast, super athletic. Just a really exciting move there. Got rid of Lourdes Gurriel Jr., who was a fan favorite though, which will always sting.
Yeah, it's been a weird offseason for the Jays. They already traded Teoscar Hernandez for Eric Swanson, which already was raising questions about, what's the plan for this offseason. and they've signed guys like Chris Bassett and stuff. But this was the icing on the cake for their offseason. Trading for Dalton Varsho is pretty cool. He was worth 4.6 FWAR last year, so definitely a well above average player. 27 home runs, 16 steals. Not a big average guy, but still came out to a 106 WRC plus, which is not super impressive, but I think it's mostly because he only walks like 8% of the time. But power speed combo, he's got the ability to play catcher as well, so he's like super athletic catcher that plays in the outfield. It'll be interesting to see if this carries over into next year. I don't have tons of confidence in his bat. A 10% barrel rate is pretty solid, but like I said, he had a 235 average, but his XBA is 20 points below that, and his X slug is like 50 points below his regular slug. So it's not looking too good in terms of the StatCast expected metrics. So it does sort of seem like an overpay. I mean, you're getting a lot of control on a guy that's going to be 26 next year. He won't be a free agent until 2027. So he's ARB eligible for the first time this season. But to give up your top prospect before he graduated, and Lourdes Gurriel, who's been a key member of the team, is very confusing. I think it's weird that I feel like they had like one of the things that made the Blue Jays so enticing was the team chemistry that they had. I always felt like they were like all friends with each other, and it felt like Teoscar and Lourdes and Vladdy and Bichette were like the best of friends, and now Teoscar and Lourdes are gone, and that's pretty disappointing. Their outfield is still pretty good, but it's definitely a new look outfield. Now it's got Springer, Varsho, and Kiermaier in center. So I'm not sure how that's going to work out. I think Varsho's a better fielder than Lourdes, but it's very weird. I don't think I like it, to be honest, because if you add up both of the trades that they did, they gave up Teoscar and Lourdes. Teoscar, I think, is a free agent after this year, and I think Lourdes has, probably same thing. Free agent after this year. Yes, correct. So both of those guys were going to be free agents. So there's that. It's more of like a control thing. But to give up those two guys and Gabriel Moreno for Eric Swanson and Dalton Varsho, I felt like they could have done a little better, but I guess it's hard to find MLB ready guys when you're trading people with, a year left on your contract. But from the Diamondbacks perspective, I think they did pretty well to get Moreno, who's got a mixed bag of offensive metrics. He's shown some power, but he might be overrated in the power department. It might be more of a contact guy. He really showed to be an elite contact guy in his major league debut last year. 11% strikeout rate with a 113 WRC plus. He's batted 320, which is pretty cool. So maybe the power won't be there, but he's going to be an elite contact guy at catcher, and he's also a very good defender. So that's pretty cool. I'm sort of excited to see what he can do there without like Alejandro Kirk and Danny Jansen holding him back. And then Lourdes, I don't know what to expect from him, honestly. I think he's like a pretty solidly above average hitter. I think he's I feel like you could consider him like right-handed Michael Conforto, but he's got less power. He hits for more average, sort of a switch there. But they've got so many outfielders in Arizona. I don't know why they went for him, but I'm sure that's who the Blue Jays were trying to give up. But I think the D-backs won this trade for sure.
Yeah, I like this trade a lot for Diamondbacks. It was weird, but I really like specifically with Varsho. He's an incredible defender. That's like the big thing you're getting out of him, and that seems to have been like almost like a weird focus. And I didn't really think that was the issue with the Jays team last year. They just didn't have any left-handed power last year. None, like absolutely none. They haven't done anything to fix that, which kind of sucks. But they've got Varsho. Varsho had 17 outs above average in the outfield last year. Pretty good.
That's great. I think that was like the most amongst outfielders.
Yeah, he's in the 99th percentile for outs above average, according to Baseball Savant. Really good defender. They also got Kiermaier to obviously play center. And weirdly enough, Varsho played most of his season last year. I mean, he's kind of like a weird super utility guy. He caught a couple games. He played some left field, but he mostly played right field. So he'll probably play right. Springer's going to be in left. Kiermaier's going to be in center. So now they have a really good defensive outfield to go with their like infield defense that's more along the average side, because Bo's not a really excellent defender. Vladdy's not an excellent defender. Like, it's just kind of a weird team. And it feels like the Jays kind of made moves to get better, and then kind of they got a little better, and then they spun the tires a little bit. That's kind of what it feels like for me. I really like the move for the Diamondbacks because Moreno is obviously insane. They have a lot of outfielders. So, I mean, like Varsho eventually was going to have to get either blocked out or they're going to have to do something with one of their other ones, move them around. But yeah, this is a good move for the Diamondbacks and kind of I don't think it's a head scratcher for the Jays, but I don't know. I don't love this for them. I feel like the one season of Kirk has kind of gotten to them. Like, okay, well, we got Kirk and we got Jansen. They're more than good enough. And you have this catcher that could potentially be better than both, and then you're just like, nah, we don't need him.
Yeah, like the moves that they're making are sort of like
lateral moves,
trying to keep everything. It's like they're trying to keep everything going, like while keeping an eye towards the future. But then why would you trade your future?
Right?
catcher?
Yeah, like makes no sense. Like we want to get all these years of control with Varsho. It's like, okay, you got Moreno. Like he has 6 years of control. Like, like why would you do this? I don't get it. I mean, I understand.
I think it makes them better now.
Yeah, it makes them better now, but it makes them better now for like a year and a half, maybe 2. Like maybe, or it's gonna suck if like Kirk kind of regresses, or like God forbid if he gets hurt, and then you're relying on Danny Jansen to be your everyday catcher, and it's Danny Jansen. He's been
pretty good.
I mean, he's been pretty good, but like pretty good is pretty good. He's also not really much of a defender. He's very average to below average as a defender. And then I don't know. It feels like not a lateral move, but if you're putting it on an angle where it's like a lateral move is like this, it's like more like this. Just go a little bit. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of it, but I kind of get where they're coming from. Sort of like this next move with the Phillies, signing Craig Kimbrell, who's totally not a dumpster fire of a reliever that they're going to put into their dumpster fire bullpen. God, Craig Kimbrell is running out of chances to figure it out. It's what it feels like. But Craig Kimbrell signed with the Phillies, joined their super team on a 1-year, $10 million deal. And he struggled a little bit with the Dodgers last year. Kind of brought it back a little bit towards the end, but like he's a human heart attack reliever.
I think the fact that the Dodgers couldn't figure him out is sort of, nail in the coffin for him. He's going to be 35 next year too. I think his career is coming to an end pretty quickly. I'm sure he's going to keep getting jobs as long as he wants to pitch, but going to the Phillies, a team that's known for really not having reliable bullpens is sort of, he fits the theme there. And I don't think it's where you want to go if you're trying to, revive your career. I don't think he takes over the closer role. I think Sir Anthony is much better out there, but also we saw with the White Sox how well Kimbrell does in a setup role, and it's not very good. So I don't have much confidence in this, but maybe the Phillies do, and maybe he saw what he liked there. And I think for him, I think it's a mental thing, because I think he's like scared to throw his pitches in the middle or just in the zone at all. And that's sort of what he did when he was, shutting down the league for the first 10 years of his career. His stuff has fallen off a little bit. And so I think he just doesn't have the stuff to blow it by guys anymore. And so he thinks he has to finesse, but that's not what kind of pitcher he is. So maybe the Phillies just get him that confidence back. Being next to Bryce Harper seems to pump guys up a little bit. Maybe he just needs to convert to Mormonism or something. But I like Kimbrell, I think, as a player. So I think I would want him to figure things out. I mean, this Phillies team is really fun. After making the World Series, they've added some really solid guys like Taijuan Walker and Trey Turner. And so now adding Kimbrell to that mix, they have a bunch of guys that have been all-stars in their careers. And so I'm pretty excited to see what this core of guys can do.
Right. I love Kimbrell, and I have, fond memories of the first half of the season where he was good with the Cubs. He is when you watch Kimbrell during his bad stretches, it's like he's genuinely terrified to throw the ball in the zone. And he feels like he really does just completely run off confidence, because he only throws 2 pitches. He throws a curveball and he throws a fastball. Like when he can't spot his curveball, he's dead. Like he's dead meat. that's the big problem. It's like a lot of times he just gets scared, throw it in the zone. I feel like getting him with like a team like the Phillies is a good idea too, because you have guys that can bump you up like Bryce Harper. He also has former teammates where he's going to be playing with Kyle Schwarber and Nick Castellanos a little bit. So, I mean, maybe Trey Turner's going to be there too, putting in something of a familiar environment. Do you remember the clip years ago when he was in Philly with Atlanta and they did the funny arm thing to him behind home plate? Maybe they'll do that to him and he'll feed off of it. I don't know. Craig Kimbrell, I want him to figure it out because I like Craig Kimbrell. He's just a fun player. He's one of the best relief pitchers ever. So it sucks seeing him kind of decline so hard. Even last year, it's weird saying he declined like a lot. He did from the previous season, but he had a 3.75 ERA. That's not awful. It's not great by any means, but it's not awful. He had 3.23 FIP. That's manageable. He's not Craig Kimbrell anymore. He's not the Craig Kimbrell. He's just a pretty all right reliever. Pretty decent. And that just kind of sucks. But I feel like if they don't put him as a closer, he's not it. Head scratcher move, but we always make fun of any reliever that gets signed to the Phillies because they always manage to do the literal worst they possibly can more often than not. We get to talk about another cool baseball player that both of us like. The Pittsburgh Pirates have signed old man Rich Hill to play. And what season is this for him now? He's played forever.
Well, he started in 2005, but he also took a lot of time off. So I don't know what that's 17 years.
He's played forever. 43-year-old Rich Hill is going to be pitching for Pittsburgh Pirates in 2023. What a world we live in. He signed a 1-year, $8 million contract.
Yeah, it's not. I don't think there's much to say about this. I think everybody is a big fan of Dick Mountain, not only because he made that his Players Weekend jersey, but I think he's just a fun story. Reviving his career with the Red Sox a few years ago, more than a few years ago now. That's crazy. Not the Red Sox. It was the Red Sox, and then it was the Dodgers. Nonetheless, this is a team that doesn't really have playoff aspirations, so it's not like he's making a big difference on how competitive the team is going to be. I just hope he doesn't keep the Pirates from calling up some of their cool young starters like Luis Ortiz and Johan Oviedo and guys like that, Quinn Priester even. But, I'm glad to see him back out there. I want Rich Hill to pitch as long as he can, Jamie Moyer style. I think it's pretty cool. His stuff's dying off now, but he's still a serviceable enough starter. But I love seeing him go out there and just throw that crazy curveball of his.
Oh yeah, he was worth almost 2 WAR last year. He is serviceable still.
Yeah.
at 42 years old.
Yeah.
So congratulations to Dick Mountain to get to play another year of professional baseball. The GOAT. If you read our predictions article, the 2022 AL Cy Young winner, Nathan Eovaldi, signed with the Texas Rangers for 2 years, $34 million. He's got a $20 million vesting player option for 2025. So it's going to be it's weird. It's going to be a player option if he throws 300 combined innings from 23 to 24, or if he gets a top 5 finish in Cy Young voting in 24, or top 7 in the Cy Young in 2024, and he makes the All-Star team. So that's when he'll get the option or the opportunity to have the option. It's weird. It'll be a player option. It has a limited no trade. That's strange. And then it has several performance-based incentives that could end up making the deal $63 million over 3 years. And now one of the last real, good, I guess, starting pitchers that's left on the market is now gone with Eovaldi and the Rangers.
Definitely a creative deal, and I think that's what they had to do to sort of get him in there. I think he's sort of a unique player in that he's struggled to stay healthy throughout his career and has flashed lots of potential, but he sort of changed a lot as a pitcher over his career. So this is definitely one where it's like, all right, if you're healthy, you're going to get paid. If not, you're going to get some money. But they are really just cornering the market on pitchers that don't have a good health track record, because now they've got DeGrom, Martin Perez, John Gray, Eovaldi, and Haney in the rotation. We all know DeGrom's injury history. Eovaldi has pitched over 155 innings in his career twice. Once was 2021 and the other was 2014. So it might be another 7 years of 2028 and he'll do it again. But and then John Gray was injured a lot last year, and Andrew Haney the same. Martin Perez is the only one you can rely on to stay healthy throughout the year. So right now it's really boom or bust in that rotation. It's a really good rotation if everybody stays healthy. If not, it's a really bad rotation. They do sort of have a lot of depth with the young guys that they have in the minors, and guys like Dane Dunning and Jake Odorizzi and Spencer Howard, guys like that can easily fill in, that were main parts of the rotation at points of last year. So they've definitely improved a lot this season, but like I said, it's really going to be a flip of the coin whether or not it all comes together this year. You were a big fan of Eovaldi coming into last year. You predicted him as your Cy Young Award winner in the AL, and he pitched pretty well. And then got injured. He only tossed 109 innings, and also his fastball velocity averaged below 96 for the first time in his career since 2012. So there's lots of stuff there that's not looking good. I always thought the weirdest thing about Eovaldi was that he threw so hard, but he just never struck guys out. And he had increased his strikeout rate every year of his career leading up to 2021. And then it dropped in 2021, and then it dropped even more in 2022. So it's sort of like he's been climbing a mountain and now he's going back down the other side. He's about to be, how old is he about to be?
He's 32 now, so he'd be 33.
33. So it's an interesting deal. I think obviously he's going to get paid if he does well. So that's pretty solid. You're not worried about like, oh, we're going to overpay for a guy that's injured the whole time, but you might, because he might just miss the majority of his starts. But I sort of want to see the Rangers I sort of want to see them succeed because they're actually trying, unlike half of the teams in baseball.
Yeah. So Eovaldi is like a starting pitcher version of Brusdar Graterol, where they throw hard and they don't strike anybody out. And if you're wondering why that is, it's because both of them are in the very, very low percentiles for spin rate. Neither of them really spin anything. Eovaldi's fastball is really flat, and then his curveball is not really spinny. It's like an extension curveball, and it's just a hammer. It's like a hammer curve. The big issue that I found with Eovaldi and what kills him and really sucks is Eovaldi's curveball just wasn't as good last year. And the reason, one, I'll bite the bullet. You know, I've said it several times. I picked him as like a dark horse thing for he had pretty decent odds for Cy Young. And Eovaldi, for that one weird stretch in the playoffs when Boston won the World Series, like he was unhittable. He was completely unhittable. Mm-hmm. He just has that weird moments where he taps into that, and I don't get it. It's just like he's gonna have one start or like one stretch where he's just gas, and you just can't touch Eovaldi. I don't know what it is about him, but he's a heavy ground ball guy. He refuses to strike. He refuses to walk anybody. He just doesn't walk anybody. Yeah, ever. Mm-hmm. Never walks people, but he also doesn't really strike them out either. I don't know. I love the move if he stays healthy. If he's going to be, you know, Eovaldi getting injured, not great. But the big issue last year that he had was just his put away pitches didn't put anybody away. The batting averages rose on like the curveball, slider, and his split finger, which really is not great because his main put away pitch the previous years has been his curveball, and it just didn't get anybody out anymore. So, I mean, like that's something they need to work on and figure out. But I mean, as we saw last year, I mean, Martin Perez, I mean, he's another guy that there's a lot of, like, he pitches to a lot of contact, also a big curveball guy. So maybe they can figure something out with Eovaldi and get him back to, you know, very, very serviceable starter, because he's more than serviceable, obviously, but like, oh yeah, pretty decent guy. If he can get to 150 innings, even a little more than that, like that's all you're really asking for him. Yeah, I like the move. I like Eovaldi. I really like pitchers like him because they're, you know, with Major League Baseball being such a strikeout league now, there's not a lot of pitchers that are, okay, I'm going to get contact and I'm going to get you out. they're not a dying breed, but there's not as many as there used to be. And I really like Uvalde. So I love this move for the Rangers. On to this next one. We're tired of talking about it, but the Braves have extended another one of their young stars in their core for years to come. Jake always tells me whenever this happens, because it's been 9 times now, they can't keep getting away with this. But the Braves extended their new acquisition, Sean Murphy, for 6 years, $73 million. He does have a $15 million club option in 2029. $4 million. He's going to be making $4 million in 2023, $9 million in 2024, and then through 2025 to 2028, he's making $15 million. So it's very, very heavily backloaded. But this feels like not a lot of money for really, really good catcher.
For real. Yeah. He's really incredible. I mean, we talked about him when he got traded, but last year he was worth 5 WAR, which is all-star level. So pretty crazy that they were able to lock him up for this much. He's going to be making that little amount for the first 2 years, because that'll be like his first 2 years of arbitration eligibility, or like the second and third year of probably the first 2 years. So that sort of is in line with that. But then 15 million after that, when he would be in free agency, is pretty crazy. I just don't know how they keep doing this. Like, they must have just an incredible pitch to all these guys. Like, all right, like, here, sit down, Sean. We've got a crazy team we're building, and we want everybody in on it. We're going to win the World Series every single year. Look, here's a stupid joke for you. Here, we got this medium. We got this guy here, John right here. He can tell the future. And we've paid him to only work for our team. And you know what he said? He said, we're winning the World Series for every year for the next 10 years.
But only if you sign. Only if you sign.
Exactly. So here's Jeff Passan's breakdown of everybody that's signed an extension with the Braves recently. Max Fried is signed through 2024. Kyle Wright through 2026. Ozzie Albies signed through 2027. Vaughn Grissom and Ronald Acuna Jr. are both signed through 2028. Spencer Strider and Sean Murphy are both signed through 2029. Matt Olson signed through 2030. Michael Harris II signed through 2032. And Austin Riley signed through 2033. So you just got a core for the next however long you want, and they're all, none of them are exorbitant prices. It's pretty incredible. They're doing something crazy. I don't know how they keep signing guys to extensions like this, because you don't see this on any other team. And it's like every time they get somebody in or they call somebody up, they get extended. And I just don't know. There's something going on there, and I don't know what it is, and they can't keep getting away with it.
I have no clue, but it's honestly getting a little tiresome, because it sucks. You stop being good. I want my baseball team to be good, and they're showing me what my baseball team should be doing.
Exactly.
It's pissing me off. The contract that they gave Sean Murphy is a complete and total steal, and I'm very aggravated that they got this. And just for reference, I mean, you can look at the other big free agent catcher that was coming off the board. Wilson Contreras got a 5-year deal worth almost $90 million. It was like $87.5 million. For 5 years, you're getting Sean Murphy for 6 years in 73. He's younger, and he has been better than Wilson Contreras. Like, they got him for a lot less than they should have. And it's just ridiculous, because it feels like they could honestly just literally trade for anybody and then offer an extension like it's in this show. It's just like, yeah, you hit the parameter, and it's just like way lower than it should be. And it's like, yeah, we'll get him. It's like when a team releases like a dude in free agency, and you can sign him to the 1 year, like $700,000 dollar contract. It's like it feels like they do that with every player that they acquire. It's really annoying. But yeah, I mean, the Braves are loaded beyond all belief for the next forever is what it feels like. Yeah, they really can't keep getting away with this. I want to say that for Heim, because this is not great. But the Red Sox have signed Corey Kluber to a 1-year, $10 million deal. It does have a club option in 2024. It's worth $11 million reduced, and it can max out at $27 million over the 2 years, because he can get an extra $500,000 for starting 20 games, and $750,000 for getting to 25 and 30 starts. The same figures will be applicable in 2024 if they do exercise the option. Corey Kluber is not going to start 20 games, and he's certainly not going to start 25, and he's certainly not going to start 30, because that guy is made out of he has glass bones and paper mache skin, and he just doesn't start very many games anymore. And when
Started
he does,
31 last year.
yeah, was he good in them? Not really.
Sort of.
Sort of.
4.34. He was all right. 3 WAR, 3 F4.
That's what they're looking for down in Boston now. Yeah. Were you good last year? I was okay. Oh, hey man.
Here's $10 million.
Here's 10 / potentially. What did I say? Here's 10 / potentially $27 million, man.
Mm-hmm.
They replaced Dick Mountain with Corey Kluber.
Yeah, that tweet you sent me, I actually didn't get it the first time I read it. And I'd seen it previously too. That the Red Sox are building a top 5 rotation in the AL East. That's really funny. Yeah, it did. And then you said that, and I was like, I'm an idiot. But yeah, that rotation is not too great. It would have been really good in 2016. You got Chris Sale, Corey Kluber, Nick Pivetta, James Paxton, and Garrett Whitlock in the projected rotation. I love Corey Kluber. I've loved him since, he was an all-star caliber pitcher back in 2014. And so I've been really disappointed that he just had like 3 straight lost years from 2019 to 2021 where he was just not pitching at all, just kept getting injured. So I was really glad to see him healthy this past year. He's not the same pitcher he was before, not even close. He's like a soft tossing finesse pitcher now. He was always really good at spotting his stuff, but he at least had really good stuff. He does not have that same kind of stuff anymore. I think his curveball is still really good, but he throws below 90 miles per hour now, which is very, very slow in this day and age of pitching. But he makes up for it by walking nobody. He had the 2nd lowest walk rate among starters last year, which is pretty cool. But his curveball gets an incredible amount of movement, the 6th most horizontal movement among starting pitching curveballs, but then he throws a sinker at 88.9 miles per hour. So that's about what you're going to get from him. I still think he's got something left in him. I don't think he's going to reach another level. I think he can still be, more than serviceable. And obviously he's going to have his starts where everything comes together and he does really well, but that curveball and his ability to throw strikes is going to carry him far enough as long as his arm doesn't fall off.
God. Yeah. The Red Sox very clearly have a plan this offseason, and it's to sign as many old washed dudes that they possibly can. You got 37-year-old Corey Kluber for the next season. You got Chris Martin, 37. You got Justin Turner, who they signed to a 2-year deal. He'll be 38, and then he'll be done with being a Red Sox unless they trade him when he's 40 years old. Kenley Jansen is 35. This is a team that is not going to be competitive. And it's like, let's sign a bunch of old dudes for what? Like, I don't know. It just makes no sense. Like you said, this rotation would have been awesome in 2016. But it's 2022. I'm not really feeling it. Literally the 2017 AL Cy Young voting. Corey Kluber won. Do you know who the runner-up was? 2017.
In which year?
2017 AL Cy Young runner-up.
No idea.
It's one of his teammates. Can you take
Chris Sale?
Chris Sale. So they have the 1 and 2 for the 2017 AL Cy Young.
Nice.
It feels like they're going to be bad, and then what's going to happen is they're going to have to try to move like Sale. I honestly feel like one of the ways that's going to – I feel like this is going to happen, and then it's going to get Chaim Bloom fired, is they're going to not be able to reach an extension with Devers, and then instead of getting better prospects, they're going to get rid of Chris Sale's contract with Devers. They're going to get rid of Devers. They're going to get rid of Sale. They're going to get like maybe 2 really good prospects back, and then like 2 really mid prospects back.
Hey man, at least they'll have Alex Verdugo.
Yeah, bro, Verdugo. See, bro, they're selling out Verdugo and Kluber jerseys. Maybe even.
Hey, I'm excited to watch jerseys. Yoshida.
Well, yeah, he's gonna be dope, but like he's gonna be playing with a bunch of retirement home members and dudes he's never heard of. So
yeah,
it's gonna be weird. But Boston, we're sorry. Yeah, this is rough, man. I don't know what else to say. Not great. Kluber really isn't that bad, but he's not Klubot anymore. He just isn't. Boston's known for like the crazy playoff beards. Maybe he can get like a super beard and recapture his old glory.
Not gonna happen. He does not have that much personality.
Yeah, It's cool to think about though.
Mm-hmm.
Got to be positive if you're a Red Sox fan. On the other end, the Yankees have traded one of their players. I kind of thought was weird that they were going to DFA, but they obviously DFA'd Lucas Luetge. He has now been moved to the Braves in exchange for Caleb Durbin and Indigo Diaz. Indigo Diaz, 80 grade name. But yeah, Braves get richer, get a nice lefty for the bullpen.
They do, and they're really good at building bullpens, and I think this is a very good addition to a bullpen. Yeah, and they were severely lacking lefties, but I wasn't super surprised that Luetge was DFA'd because he's going to be 36. But now that I'm looking at his numbers and seeing that across the past 3 years, he's pitched to a 2.66 ERA. I mean, the xFIP isn't really there. It's up at 3.80, so he's definitely been lucky. But that's really impressive. He's become a different pitcher since making his way back into the majors with the Yankees the past couple of years. So he's definitely a very solid reliever, and obviously the Braves are lucky to get him. They didn't give up too much. Caleb Durbin is 22 years old, and he's a second base prospect. He's going to be 23 next year, and last year he had a 116 WRC plus at A ball and then a 79 WRC plus at high A ball. So doesn't have a lot of power either, doesn't hit for a lot of contact, but he's got really good plate discipline. So maybe something comes of that. He's also pretty fast. So I think he's still like 3 years away from the majors though. So no confidence in that one there. And then Indigo Diaz is a 24-year-old. He's about to be 24 this next year. And he is a relief pitching prospect who has actually been pretty successful. So I don't know. The Yankees might have gotten away pretty well with this because Luetge was probably a guy that they, signed a minor league contract with a while ago. And, they're getting a couple prospects for him as a 36-year-old is a pretty good deal, but I'm sure the Braves are going to get the most out of him, and the Yankees will, not do anything too crazy with the prospects that they got.
I don't know. I really like Indigo Diaz from what I've seen. One, he's got an 80 grade name. I already said that. Mm-hmm. He is 24, but he made 49 appearances last year in AA. He pitched to a 3.08 ERA in about 40. I think he had 49 2/3 innings, 50 innings, something like that. Walked 31 guys. He had 63 strikeouts. He ended up getting 7 holds and 4 saves, but he is nasty, man. He's 6'5". He's 250. He throws like 98, and he throws a slurve, like a nasty slurve. In 2021, I found another tweet. This was in June of 2021. He got a relief appearance where he struck out the side. And then he pointed to the ump because he blew a call and got him ejected immediately.
All right. He got that dog in him.
He had absolutely 80 grade dog in him. That also, at that point in the season, he had his K/9 for the season was almost 20. It was 19.6. So he just throws gas. Yankees typically are very good at building bullpens too. We talked about the Braves, but they're very good at maximizing their relievers.
So there's definitely a shot the Yankees walk away as winners from this.
Yeah, I like the move for the Braves a lot. Luetge's been very successful in the last couple of seasons. He is old, but they've had success with old relievers. I mean, Jesse Chavez was like one of the most lights out relievers in their bullpen, and he was like 55 or whatever. So, I mean, I like the move for both parties. Worked out well. But, here's another trade involving the Braves. The Rangers traded Eli White to the Braves in exchange for cash considerations. Eli White's kind of like a weird super utility player, but not really super special. He's a very good defender. He steals bases, not much of a hitter, pretty good fielder. Yeah. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah. Former Oakland A's farmhand, Eli White. He's really fast. He is not a great hitter at all. He strikes out way too much for a guy that should be trying to make a lot of contact. I think there's definitely some potential there, but this is obviously just a depth play for a guy that has pretty solid amount of control left and, is going to be able to provide speed and good glove out there in the outfield when the Braves need it. I don't know if he's projected to be on the roster right now. He is not projected to be on the roster right now because the Braves have made so many moves this offseason. They also have Jordan Luplow and Sam Hilliard. Remember that Sam Hilliard trade from way back when the offseason first started?
Barely.
Yeah,
He is on their 40 man. So I mean, he'll probably just be a AAA play. He's going to be Terrence Gore is what he'll probably be. Maybe a little bit more valuable.
Definitely a better hitter than Terrence Gore. And don't bring up Terrence Gore around me and my brother. We will argue about him. He's an idiot. Always argues about saying. He always says, "Oh, Terrence Gore is a good hitter."
No,
I'm like, shut up. Shut up. Shut up.
Maybe if you gave him a beach ball to swing at, he'd be a good hitter.
Yeah. He's a better hitter than I am, but that's not that hard.
Relative to people who don't play baseball, Terrence Gore is probably a good
great hitter. Yeah, great hitter. Actually.
Relative to players that play baseball for a living, Terrence Gore is not a good hitter.
Yeah. If WRC Plus was not 100 for league average, but 100 for average person, Terrence Gore would be like 150 easily.
Oh yeah. What's the last? Man, he played in 2022. He said he was a good hitter. He played in 2022. Have you seen Terrence Gore's WRC Plus from 2022? Don't look. I want you to guess.
It's too late. It's too late.
Negative 20.
Yeah.
So he was
plate appearances.
Yeah.
How did he?
Negative 100.
Negative 100 in 2020, but he had no plate appearances. They were just like, you suck at hitting. Not a 0, not a 100 or like an NA, just a negative 100. You're so bad you didn't even get a plate appearance. Yeah, this guy had 85 plate appearances in his career. In his career, he's had 85 plate appearances because he does not hit. He's good at running. So
doesn't he have 3 rings now?
Does he have 3?
I think he does.
Because he's got one with the 2015 Royals, and that's it.
He had one with the Braves.
Oh, well, he didn't play for them. Oh, maybe postseason.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's what you got to look at. Yeah, he played for the 2021 postseason Braves. He played in 1 game and never played a game the rest of that season. That's crazy. What a man.
He was also
as fast as he was.
He played for the Cubs for like a hot minute. He stole 2 bases and he scored on a single that barely left the infield from Anthony Rizzo to tie it against the Rockies. Yeah. They lost that game because of Tony Walters.
This is a what if Usain Bolt played baseball.
He's the GOAT.
Yeah. All right.
I talked about the Cubs for a second. We make a nice little segue to their marquee signing of the summer or of the winter. Excuse me.
I don't know how I missed this one. This one happened like a week ago.
Yeah, because they just officially announced it though.
Yeah.
Yesterday, so like it still counts. The Chicago Cubs signed Tucker Barnhart. He's gonna be their backup catcher. It's actually a $2 million deal. It's got a 2-year deal. Got 1 year, $3.25 million, and has an option for 2024. And it's got $3 million worth of incentives. And I don't know who Tucker Barnhart's agent is, but man, he must be good if he got him the player option. Because Tucker Barnhart, other than defense, he provides you absolutely nothing as a hitter. He's an awful hitter. Maybe not quite as bad as Terrence Gore, but yeah, I mean he's not much of a hitter. You're getting him for the defense. And the Cubs still haven't really gotten a bat that they need. They have excellent defense up the middle, from probably not Jan Gomes anymore. He's kind of mid, but Dansby Swanson, Nico Horner, Cody Bellinger, now potentially Tucker Barnhart. Pretty good spine of your defense, but they need bats. Tucker Barnhart definitely is not a bat.
No, he's a great fielder, like you said. I think that's what the Cubs need with the type of starting pitchers that they employ. Guys that pitch to contact.
Do. And
they
especially
need strikes.
They need to steal strikes, and they especially need him for the young pitchers. I really like having like veteran catchers that can help young pitchers, and they have quite a few of them. I mean, they're projected to have like Ethan Roberts, Keegan Thompson, Javier Assad should probably make a couple cameos. They have more young arms in their bullpen that are coming back, like Cody Hoyer still. I think there's still rumblings that they want to try out Miguel Amaya. So for whatever reason, either this year or next year, if Miguel Amaya is going to come in, he could probably try to take him under his wing and help him some. I mean, he's a clubhouse guy. That's what you're getting Tucker Barnhart for. You're not getting him to be like, hey, Tucker, you're hitting 4-hole. You're hitting cleanup.
Why did he start switch hitting again? Do you remember? He was one of those guys that was like after Cedric Mullins did his whole thing. He was like, oh, I'm gonna start batting left-handed. He batted left-handed only, was pretty solid for his standards, and then started switch hitting again. I don't know why. He wasn't.
Maybe he got bored.
So yeah, he was just like, this is not fun.
Maybe he got bored and he was like, you know what? I already kind of suck if I just hit left-handed. I might as well try this right-handed thing out.
Yeah, fair enough.
To make room for that, they actually DFA'd their other backup catcher, which was PJ Higgins. But he's a really good fielder, man. He's got like a career like 997 fielding percentage. He also is he actually is second for caught stealings since 2016. It's pretty good. You know who number 1 is?
Yadier Molina.
No, he sucks. It's Realmuto.
Nice.
Daily reminder: Yadier Molina is garbage. Not a good baseball player. But yeah, that's it for Tucker Barnhart. I mean, there's not really much else to say about what's going to be a backup catcher. I think this next move is a little bit more interesting, and it's going to be Gene Segura signing with the Marlins, staying in the NL East. 2-year, $17 million deal for Segura, and apparently they're going to play him at third. Is a lot of what I've been hearing.
Yeah, that's what I saw too. I thought he was like the last good remaining free agent out there. There's really not too many great guys left on the board, and I think Segura has been pretty underrated. He's been one of the most consistent hitters throughout his career, especially over the last 3 years. It's not anything incredible, but he's been consistently slightly above average, which is hard to come by. Not super hard to come by, but you could definitely do worse. He doesn't hit for a lot of power. He hits for pretty, he's going to hit 12 home runs probably next year, probably less because he's playing in Miami, but he's a really good average guy. He doesn't have the same speed he used to have, but he's going to put up a 110 WRC plus and just be perfectly serviceable and play second base. And, I don't know, hopefully fit in well with that team. They got rid of Brian Anderson. They non-tendered Brian Anderson. So putting Segura at third base definitely fills a hole there. They could definitely still use a lot of upgrades. This is one of their only additions they've made all offseason outside of, trading for like JT Chargois. And I'm pretty sure that's it. They've done absolutely nothing. And it's been really disappointing that they just haven't been able to put a team together. And now that you're dealing with like the Mets and the Braves freaking extending every single person in sight, it's a really hard division. Yeah, and the Phillies that just made the World Series. This is one of the hardest divisions in baseball. It's very top loaded, and I really don't think the Marlins have a chance, but it's good to see them at least add some talent. I am a fan of a lot of the players on the Marlins. They have a lot of fun players, exciting players, but it's just disappointing that they haven't been able to build a core around it. And it's the most disappointing thing about it is that it's Kim Ng. Like if it was any other GM, I would be like, all right, yeah, like frick that guy, that guy's an idiot. But the fact that it's the first woman GM, like I had such high hopes for her, and I don't think she's doing a bad job. I just wish she just was incredible, so that we had more reason to get more women in high responsibility baseball jobs. And I hope this doesn't turn teams away from doing that, but she really hasn't made it seem like she's doing incredible things out there. And it's not her fault, obviously, that the rest of the division is incredible, but it is her fault or not totally her fault. It's, the whole organization's fault, but she hasn't been able to put the type of team out there that is able to compete with the juggernauts in the division. And it's really disappointing, mostly because I want women to have more opportunities in baseball, and I wanted her to succeed really badly. So hopefully they have like a crazy breakout year this year, and Mets are going to Met, and the Braves, I don't know, they win the division and the Marlins make the playoffs. That would be cool. But didn't they make the playoffs in 2020?
I don't want to talk about it. They beat the Cubs. They beat the Cubs. They beat the Cubs in the playoffs. They beat the Cubs in the 3-game playoff series, and the Cubs scored 1 run over 2 games.
Nice.
It trashed. They scored 1 run, and they lost both games to 2-0 and 2-1.
Mm-hmm.
They gave up 4 runs and lost the series.
rough.
Yeah. Gene Segura also fits my long-standing theory that I've had for like 3 weeks now that free agents, when they leave, most likely stay in the same division. Segura obviously staying in the NL East. He also has absolutely excellent nicknames, like Jimmy Cigarettes. I really like that. But yeah, Gene Segura, he's one of baseball's big nice guys. I think everyone kind of sees him as like one of the happy personalities. But yeah, I mean, the Marlins haven't really made any moves to really write home for. And it's kind of, I feel like it's tough to judge Kim Ng too, because like it's difficult probably to convince your free agent signings to come play in Miami. Obviously, I mean, you got the Miami factor, but other than that, I mean, like their baseball team is not bad, but they aren't great. I mean, like their rotation is good, but it's nothing special, like outside of like Pablo and Sandy. So like, and it's difficult to hit. It's a pitcher's park. So if you're a hitter, it's probably tough to sell like, hey, come here and hit, especially if you're trying to get guys now. Like if you want to rebuild, or if you want to kickstart like, you know, a young burgeoning team with like extra talent, be like, well, why would I do that now when I can go play for a team that like, why would I do that now when I can play for a team that will help me like make my own stats look good so I can get an even better contract? Because now Segura's contract still isn't a major one. It's 2 years, $17 million. Like, that's nothing super crazy. Yeah, this is a move that involves baseball and not really one to write home about. I honestly thought Gene Segura would probably catch on with more along the lines of a contender, not someone like the Marlins.
What do you mean, bro? Marlins are contenders.
For what? Most mid baseball teams. They're right there. They're right there. They're pretty good.
The team with the most players named Gene on it.
The team with Gene Segura. They won the team with the Gene Segura competition.
They're contenders. Yeah, they're contenders for the team with the players in the starting lineup with the most named J in it. Gene Segura, Jazz Chisholm Jr., Jorge Soler, Joey Wendell, Jacob Stallings, Jesus Sanchez, John Birdie. Bro, oh my God, they're going to the World Series of the Jays.
The J team. Maybe they're competing for most alliterative team name. You know, they got
and they got JJ Bleday too, and Gerard Encarnacion and Jordan Groshans. Bro, they could do a complete lineup of Jays.
That's awesome. I hope they do that.
That
someday.
is
We
awesome.
can talk about it. If they ever do that, we're talking about that on the podcast.
Okay, deal.
That's all the transactions.
Oh no, Jacob. Oh, never mind. Go ahead.
Oh, they had Jacob. Yeah, they got Jacob Stallings.
Yeah, they got everybody. It's all filled. I hope they do that. That would be fire.
Jandy Alcantara.
Bold prediction for 2023: the Marlins field an entire lineup of guys with J.
We're throwing a watch party if they do.
Yeah,
that'll be one of the highlights of my entire adult life. That's all the transactions that we have to talk about that regard baseball. Explain what we're going to do now, Jake.
Yeah, so we are completely out of ideas, so we're just going to watch YouTube. No, I'm joking. My brother and I, who will be joining us. Oh, there he is. Here, Luke, take that one left ear. This is my brother Luke. He got me the Angels Shohei Ohtani jersey, so he'll be joining us for this because we always watch John Boy Media's RefGuess every week that it comes out. It's basically just they show a baseball reference stat page and then you're just supposed to guess who it is. I think most people play along. That's, I think that's the most of the appeal that comes with that YouTube watching experience. So that's what we're going to do here. I think the way it's going to work is I'm going to put the video up here like this. Very good. I'm not sure the audio is too great. Luke's not too great. I'm incredible. Very few times have I missed some of the players that they put up there. Clifford. He screwed it up one time. He just, we're watching it. He's super drunk and he's just like, oh, I know who it is. I said, all right, don't say it. He's just like, oh, but I might be wrong. Like, I'm just going to say it. And I was like, please don't say it. And he just said it. And then now I never know if I was going to get it. But yeah, so that's that. But yeah, we're going to watch this and then we're just going to look at the thing and then we're going to make our guesses all at the same time so we don't spoil it for anybody else. And then we'll hear what the John Boy guys have to say I'm not sure how great the audio is going to be. Tested it out beforehand, Davis, right? And it didn't have too much audio, so that'll be the only thing holding us back. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
All right, let's 3, 2, 1, go.
Shouldn't be too hard.
No.
These first ones always screw me up.
All right, so pause it here. Try not to give anyone away before we all say it at the same time. This is the easy round, so I should get this one pretty fast. This is an old guy. Played for the Mets growing up and then played for the Giants when I was younger. He is a first. Is that first? No. He's a second baseman. He finished out his career with the Dodgers. I usually get these pretty fast, but he hit 30 home runs for the Giants. That's crazy. Oh, and he won the MVP in 2000. That should be easy, right?
As a second baseman?
Mm-hmm.
I can barely see this.
How you feeling about this one, Davis?
I'm fighting for my life, man.
I usually get it like right away, and I think it's because we're recording or something that I can't get it right
I
away.
think I have a guess.
I have a guess too.
I had a guess, but I don't know if it's right.
I think I know who it is.
All right. I'm pretty sure I know who it is.
All right. Yeah, me too. But I don't remember him playing for the Mets is the only thing that's throwing me off.
The one thing that like kind of gave it for me was Houston.
Yeah, Houston and also LA.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I know who it is. All right.
I'm about to be
Let's
wrong. Should we
say our
guess
answers.
first?
We'll all say our answers in 3, 2, 1.
Ray
Jeff
Durham.
Kent.
Jeff Kent. Yes.
Jeff Kent.
Jeff Kent. Ray Durham. Luke. You kidding me?
Bro, that was
yeah.
the only thing that came to my head. Those oldies.
All right, and then they go through all their guys, and they say they usually go through it and guess. That guy's wet. Max is crazy.
Should've-
Yep. Nobody's gonna miss it. Luke's gonna be the only one to miss it.
Oh,
There we go. Everybody except for Luke. Oh no. Ads. Are you kidding me? Well, that's disappointing.
Did we get the same?
Did we get the same ad?
No.
Okay. All right, let's get back into it. All right.
Oh God.
Medium. This is another batter. Played
Did not
sort
play
of while we
injured.
were children. Oh, come on, bro. He played for the Cubs. You should have this one. 39 home runs for the Cubs in
Left
2004.
fielder.
Yeah. Center field, left field, right field. Not a lot of center field. I mean, Giants should be somebody that I should be able to get really easily, but I don't think 2005 Giants is my strong suit.
I feel like the left fielder that season where he hit 40 dingers has to be like almost 40 for the Cubs. 39.
Yeah, I feel like that should be the giveaway for me.
It's not Carlos
2009.
Zambrano. That's for sure.
I don't know why these are so much harder than the other ones I usually do.
I guess I would have a guess.
All right, keep it to yourself.
That's probably not right. It's definitely not right.
Who was playing left field for the Giants in 2000? Barry Bonds was playing left field for the Giants in 2005. This is difficult for a medium. I don't know. I literally have no idea for some reason. I'm going to be really disappointed when I hear it. They usually do more recent players, so it's definitely not what you want to see when it's players from the 1990s. I really want to come up with somebody to at least have a guess for. You got any idea, Davis?
Oh, I have one, but I don't think it's right either.
I don't have anybody. I can't just go guessless.
Yeah, I don't.
Frick.
The other weird teams are throwing me off. The first one that I saw was like, oh, Montreal, bro, it's totally Andre Dawson, but it can't be because the time doesn't add up.
No chance, Andre Dawson.
I think I got it, but I don't think it's right, but we'll see.
I don't even have a guess. Ugh. I literally usually look at them for like 1 second and I got it. So this is new for me. I think I literally just have to go guessless. I'm drawing a blank for some reason.
Is it Alou?
I'm
Did
drawing a
Alou
blank.
play for the Mets?
Oh, who's your guess, Luke?
Nope. Well, no.
I'm gonna say Alou. Maybe Alou.
Yeah,
played for the
that's right.
Mets.
It's Moises Alou. Who are you guessing? Who are you gonna guess?
No one that I should say out loud.
Say out loud. I want to hear.
Definitely not Alfonso Soriano.
That was my
he
other
never
one
played
too,
for
but
the
he played for the
Giants.
Yankees, not the Mets.
Yeah.
And he never played for the Giants.
was
No,
like,
it's
definitely
100% Moises Alou,
Yeah,
and
it's-
I'm pissed now that I didn't get
I literally
that.
have a signed hat by him in my room.
Yeah, he does.
Messed up.
That is disappointing. So I've been informed that we're not getting any audio on this, so I don't think it's worth it to listen to them. We'll just see how they do. Oh, and thank God that Max guy, he said he's drawing a blank, and that guy always gets it right away too. So and that makes me feel a little better.
Oh, Soriano. Oh no.
I like hearing people's guesses. Carlos Delgado, Jeff Bagwell? No.
Jeff Bagwell never played for the Cubs.
David Bell?
Yeah.
David Bell
Mike
never
Cameron.
played for the
We get
Cliff Floyd.
we get Davis on this show.
Oh, he got it. He got it. Oh, Steve Bartman, Moises Alou is what he said.
Steve Bartman.
And he got it too. So did he. Dang. Can't believe I didn't get it right. Wow, so many people missed it. That one was so hard. I'm very impressed, Davis.
Let's see, hard man.
The next one's gonna be harder though. Are you cheating, Davis?
No, I'm skipping my video forward so I don't have to listen to him talk.
All right, here we go. Hard mode. It's another early 2000s, late 1990s guys. These
It's
guys.
like a reliever.
It's a reliever.
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
we got Willis
I'll
Says
never
with the
get that
Marlins
then.
in 2004.
Oh man,
I feel like
Luke's weirdly good with the relievers. You know, the biggest giveaway is if he closed out one of our podcasts.
he had almost a 50 save season.
I almost wanted to say Rob Nin, but like that doesn't line up either.
No, because he pitched when
He did like the start of his career was like Marlins, and then he went to the Giants. And there's
This
no
guy barely pitched for the Giants.
I don't know.
The guy that comes to my mind that did pitch for these teams, but I don't think in this order.
His last season was in Toronto.
Yeah, but I don't know. He pitched 8 games for Toronto that year.
So good.
It's hard to
from like 99 through 2001.
Yeah. I think I know who it is. I know who it is. But there's a slight chance that I'm wrong.
Oh my God, I have no clue.
I'm pissed about that Moises Alou one. All right. Any ideas from you guys?
It's not Dontrell Willis. That's for sure.
The Baltimore is like killing me because I don't know that at all.
I remember this guy.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't even have a guess.
All right. Luke, you got a guess?
No.
All right.
Not.
I think it's Armando Benitez.
Don't know that guy.
I've never even heard of that guy.
What? Yes, I was right. All these guys are saying Armando Benitez. I was right. Let's go. How many people were wrong? Well, not these guys didn't get a guess anymore. With the white boxes. So yeah, let's go. So did I win? Because I got 2 out of 3.
So did Davis, though.
Davis,
but he didn't get the hard one.
Did you get the first one? Oh yeah, you did.
Yeah, I got the first and second one. I didn't get the hard one.
We're tied. All right. Now he does
trivia
like a trivia at the end. Yeah.
Tiebreaker.
Only 2 players in MLB history who played for the Giants, Mets, and Yankees while producing over 40 career WAR. Can we name them?
Mets and Yankees.
And Giants.
And Giants.
While producing over 40 career WAR.
I don't know Giants players, man. I don't know them. I just don't. I've never known Giants players.
He's gonna be like old guys.
I know Barrel DeBonds.
Oh, I know one of them, and it's just because I know one of them.
Shoot.
Who's the other one?
Bro, these are always so hard.
I know. I don't know who the other one is. I'm 100% sure on one of them.
I honestly don't know either. Make some guesses, but I don't think I got it.
Let's hear some guesses.
Did Keith Hernandez? No, Keith Hernandez never played for the Yankees.
Scale.
Never played for the Giants. Luke said Vizquel. No.
Joe Torre.
No.
I don't know, man.
One of them is Carlos Beltran. That's
When
the
did
silhouette
Beltran-
on the right. And that's
When did
what
Beltran play for the
gave it away.
Giants?
Beltran played for the Giants. Yeah, he was
The other guy's some old.
Yeah,
player.
definitely.
Shoot, man. I don't know, man. I think you got this one. No clue.
Yep.
Beltran.
Probably like Craig Nettles or some goofy guy like that. I guess Robin Venturo. All right, he got Beltran. He's guessing guys too fast. Oh, Daryl Strawberry played for the Giants?
Yeah, I didn't know he played for the Giants. Like,
You thought he was a basketball player? Okay.
No.
I didn't know he played for the Giants. I knew he played for the Yankees and Mets, but I didn't know he played for the Giants.
well,
So
you got
yeah.
Beltran, so you beat me by half a point.
Let's go. All right. That was successful outside of there being no audio. So it was sort of hard to watch as a group. But that was Luke's podcast debut. Maybe we'll have him on for a
Yes,
full
sir.
episode someday if he gets himself a microphone. But yeah.
Later, boys.
All right. Smelia, you think that's something we'll do in the future again?
Yeah, I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
I did awful at it.
You were good.
I got the easier ones.
Luke missed all of them.
I got the easier ones though. Like Jeff Kent was easy.
Kent was easy. Yeah, we just talked
Alou.
about it.
I only remember Alou because he had the stupid story about how he'd pee on his hands. Have you ever heard that story?
Yeah, yes, I have, and that's why he didn't wear batting gloves. No, and I love Moises Alou, and I know Moises Alou. I didn't have any names coming to mind. I don't think I remember him hitting 39 home runs with the Cubs. That's crazy.
I don't remember that. My fandom is like from like 2011 onwards, 2012 onwards. So like fake fan. I don't know the old dudes unless I've like taken a time to go look at the old dudes' stats or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, usually he's been doing more recent players recently. I would suggest if you enjoy doing that, go back and
add as soon as the pod ends. That's what we're gonna do. Speaking of the pod ending, I think it is a wonderful time that we ended the RefGuess with a reliever, so we can bring in the closer.
Let's go. All right. And today we've got a special one, and it's Dwayne Ward, who had a 9-year career with the Blue Jays and the Braves that dated from 1986 through 1995. He was drafted by those aforementioned Braves with the 9th overall pick in the 1982 draft. He featured a mid-90s fastball and a hard slider, very typical for a reliever. And he debuted in April of 1986, tossing in a scoreless inning, allowing 1 hit and striking out 1 batter. But that was the extent of his success in his debut season, which was very rough and resulted in him being traded to the Blue Jays midway through the season. He pitched just as terribly in his first full season in Toronto in 1987, so it really wasn't a great start. But then he became the team's top setup man in 1988, tossing 111 2/3 innings with a 3.30 ERA and garnering 15 saves. And then he continued that incredible ability to eat a bunch of innings out of the bullpen for the next 2 seasons. In 1989, he ate 114 2/3 innings with a 3.77 ERA and 15 saves. And then 1990, he had 127 2/3 more innings with a 3.45 ERA and 11 saves. And he improved enough in the ERA department in 1991 to finally be widely recognized as one of the best relievers in baseball. He had 107 2/3 innings pitched that year, striking out a career best 132 batters with a 2.77 ERA, 23 saves, and he led all of baseball pitchers with 81 games appeared in. That's half of the games in the season. And that resulted in him finishing 9th in AL Cy Young Award voting. So he did get some Cy Young votes, which is pretty cool. And then he had his best season on a rate basis in 1992 across 101 and a third innings. He had a 1.95 ERA, which was a career best, and he saved 12 ball games. That year, he won his first World Series ring in the first year that the Blue Jays would win back-to-back World Series. And then in 1993, took over for the closer role after Tom Henke departed. And that year he went off. He had 71 and 2/3 innings pitched, posting a 2.13 ERA with a career best 1.03 whip. He led the American League with 45 saves and 70 games finished. He made his first and only All-Star team that year. He won his second World Series ring, and then he finished 5th in AL Cy Young Award voting, and he got some MVP votes as well, finishing 22nd in AL MVP voting. But then he missed the entire 1994 campaign because of biceps tendonitis, and then he pitched just 4 games in 1995 and retired at the age of 31. So it was a very, very short peak, but he was a really solid reliever for a long time, eating a lot of innings and, locking down saves here and there, and resulting and culminating in that incredible 1993 season. And for his career, he had 10.1 Baseball Reference WAR across 666 and 2/3 innings with 679 strikeouts, a 3.28 ERA, a 1.26 whip, and 121 saves, which is good for 128th all-time on the all-time saves leaderboard.
That's awesome. So, good pod. We had a great pod. Did the RefGuess. We're closed out by Dwayne Ward. Only thing left to do, plug our stuff, and we can let you go. It's 11 o'clock. It's like early for us. We haven't gone for 2 hours. We're close to it. We're not going to get there. As always, my name's Davis Bird. My Twitter's on the screen at DVSBird. You can follow me on Twitter. I should post and I complain, just like on here. So please follow me on there. We're putting out more stuff. Make sure you check out the Athletes Hub. You can follow them on Twitter at Athletes Hub. Going to be a lot of stuff coming out for the new year. All of January is going to be loaded with stuff. Me and Jake, as well as Matt Partridge, are working on our Hall of Fame prediction articles because Hall of Fame voting ends in 2 days. So we're going to figure out who's going to get to be in the Hall of Fame on the 24th. I think that's when the results come out. So that's going to be coming out. We'll be working on a lot of stuff, talking about it on the pod. Make sure you follow this guy, Jake Crumpler, on Twitter at Jake Crumpler, because he's the mastermind behind all of the baseball stuff. I'm actually just several kids in a trench coat. I just say whatever he tells me to do. So what you want to plug, Jake?
Check out our stuff at Athletes Hub. Like Davis said, we're about to come out with a ton of stuff with the new year. That's sort of Athletes Hub's biggest time of the year, when we just have articles every single day. So if you're looking for content, all the sports, we've got you covered. You can find all of my work at crumplerbaseball.com. That'll have all my podcasts, all of my articles, from which I write at pitcherlist.com, as well as Baseball HQ, which requires a subscription, but they've got both of those websites have great fantasy and regular baseball stuff. So just some great websites. And like I said, you can find all my stuff at crumplerbaseball.com, and also as well as athleteshub.org. It's been an exciting offseason so far. I think it's winding down in terms of signings and stuff. So I think we're pretty much all done there. So it's time to start getting creative and talking about more exciting things. And maybe we'll just be watching YouTube every day. We'll just be watching PewDiePie and Mr. Beast.
Mr. Beast baseball.
No baseball, just Mr. Beast.
Just Mr. Beast watch party pod. Yeah.
Exactly.
But check back in with us. We usually do these on Wednesday, but yesterday was a special occasion, so we just didn't do it. But usually Wednesdays at 9 is the best time you can watch us. And just follow the Athletes Hub on Twitter at Athletes Hub, and it always gets posted there whenever we go on. And you can just turn on post notifications for that. Catch all of our really cool articles, all of our podcasts of me and Jake complaining and trying to beat each other with how smart we are with things. But yeah, thanks for watching. That's all we got.